us started then. Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Horrid Horror Hour. My voice cracked on the first fucking word. God damn it.
Excellent.
So, before we get into our movie of the day, I do want to do a little bit of, I guess not house cleaning because it's the first episode, just a few things out of the way. The most obvious one, if you're a fan of Red Letter Media, and specifically of their review series, you know what this is already. It's pretty much that, but just with horror movies. I'm very passionate about horror in general, and especially horror movies. I've watched a lot, probably more than anybody I know. But yeah, I actually pitched this as something on our podcast for Chill Issue a while ago. It's like a small segment, but then I realized I kind of want to make that its own thing, you know? And speaking of Chill Issue, my co-hosts will Mark, introduce yourself.
I'm Mark. Hello. Hi. Hey. I have seen many horror movies, such as The Thing, Alien. I draw sometimes.
You can find Mark at his social medias that'll be in the description below. Kayne, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Kayne. I animate. I host Chill Issue. You should check that out instead of this.
Oh, okay. You know what? For that one, fuck you. Synopsize the movie, you bitch.
Okay, so we watched Alien. So at the very start of the movie, a bunch of space truckers are on their way back to Earth in like this big cargo ship, and they receive an emergency transmission, and they land on a big asteroid, and there they find this big alien ship, and one of the crew members gets face hugged by a little head crab, and they take him back to the ship. Turns out the head crab planted a little alien inside the guy, and now they gotta survive.
I was expecting a bunch of little green men, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I guess let's talk about the cast a little bit. We can talk about the characters, the people that play them. I don't know all of the cast members too well. Of course, Sigourney Weaver, but I was surprised to remember that Kayne, not you, Kayne, but the guy in the movie named Kayne, that the alien bursts out of, that was fucking John Hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't know John Hurt's line of work very much. I know he's a very well-respected actor, or was, rest in peace. I know him from Doctor Who, in which he gave a fantastic fucking performance for like a single episode, and then never showed up again, which is fine. I said already, Sigourney Weaver. She steals the show. Ellen Ripley is the smartest person in literally all of these fucking movies, period.
She's the only one in the entire movie who made any right calls.
True.
Yeah.
Although that brings up an interesting point in that I don't think that takes away from the other characters.
No.
Like I they still feel very human, and like, yeah, their responses to a lot of things are kind of stupid, but they're also like understandably like they're understandable, like from their personalities and from their current emotional states, you know? Like Parker, near the end of the movie is just like, I want to fucking kill that alien, like not even listening to reason at that point, because like his best friend is dead at that point, right?
I love that. I really do. The only horror movie I saw before this was, I also saw Scream, the first Scream, but well,
I love the Scream series so much.
It's
we'll definitely be getting to that at some point, folks. Maybe not with these guys, but at some point I am definitely gonna fucking talk about that movie on this series.
Yeah, that one was very interesting, especially as someone who doesn't know a lot of the horror tropes, but still sees like that movie tries to do like a spin on that. But anyway, with Alien, like the other movie I saw before this was The Thing, which has like a similar kind of, well, not different, like kind of vibe. It has something about the premise feels familiar to it, and also the way that it's set up with this team of like people who are portrayed as very human, just kind of taking the piss out of each other, just working together, and their relationship has a lot of focus.
That's true. Although I will say, as much as I love The Thing, I think Alien does that aspect better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know, like it feels like because it's a smaller team, like each individual character gets more time to shine, and they become a bit more memorable because of that. Like, at least with the thing, you can have this whole slaughter because, well, pretty much all of them die. Spoilers. But with Alien, it's like you get to know them a little bit better, and that's very nice. You see their interactions. Props for not killing the. Thank God.
I like the opening scene especially when they're all sitting at the table with one another, because it feels entirely. I don't know if it was improvised, but it feels improvised. Like, it feels like just people talking. Like, they interrupt each other, they talk over each other. It's very, very natural, and the entire movie is kind of like that.
I read somewhere that they actually filmed during the screen tests, and I don't know if any of that ended up in the movie, but they were like really trying to capture, I don't know, just the general humanness of it, you know, like that they were acting to the best of their abilities, of course, but sometimes there may be like a little bit awkwardness, or like the timing is a little bit different, or they just say things with like a slight delay to it, like it's not perfectly rehearsed, and I feel like they were really trying to kind of capture that to make these characters feel as human as possible.
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say.
Was it about the humanness of the characters? Was it about the cast? Was it?
I don't remember. It's completely gone. It's
because I can keep talking.
Gone.
No worries.
Fuck.
What you were talking about earlier was how all the characters kind of make the wrong calls, but very understandingly so.
Yeah, I think I used Parker specifically as an example of that, where he's like understandably very angry near the end when it's just him, Lambert, and Ripley still alive.
Yeah.
And his like shirt's all fucking ripped up. He gets so fucked up in that movie. Like he's definitely got the most battle damage out of everybody.
Oh yeah.
And man, his death sucks. Not like it's badly done, but like it sucks when he dies, because he's like the secondary protagonist, and his relationship with the characters is really fun. Lambert, who I keep wanting to say is Lambert, which is I think the proper pronunciation for that last name. On the other hand, nah, she's kind of boring. She doesn't really do anything.
Lambert, yeah.
She doesn't really get to do much, unfortunately.
She gets upset.
Yeah,
rightfully so. I think this is a well-known fact, but like specifically with the scene with the chest burster, where there's like gallons of blood sprouting out of the body. Like they didn't inform the actors that was going to happen, so their reaction is genuine, and especially the actress who plays Lambert is like actually like she had to be calmed down after the scene. Like that's so fucked up. I don't like that actually.
I
that
like that
scream
a lot.
lives rent free in my head. Like I can audibly hear that in my head. So I if you weren't gonna bring that up, I was gonna bring up that part. I'm pretty sure that was also like not in the script. Like I'm not entirely sure if I'm remembering this right, but I'm pretty sure in the script, like some of the actors had talked about how oh god, is Audacity dying? Please. Anyway,
oh no.
Some of the actors were talking about how like in the script it just says something happens.
Oh.
Like the stuff with John Hurt was set up before any of the other actors had seen it. So like to get a more genuine reaction. It's kind of like what happened in Jurassic Park, right? With the part where the T-Rex is like stomping on the kids, and the reactions are real because the top glass wasn't supposed to fall down on them.
Oh yeah.
But like that was an accident, I presume.
Yeah, that was an accident, but it made the scene more
deliberate.
Real. This was deliberate, yeah, which is I love. I kind of fucking love that.
I don't know, man. Reading about like how terribly these actors were being treated in general, I feel really bad for them.
Oh, were they treated horribly? I only knew about this one scene. Like this one incident's like, okay, I get it. You want the reaction to be more real. I'm not against that. But if they were like treated like shit on set, then that kind of changes things. That's like a Kubrick situation where we got a really good movie, but he fucking made Shelley Duvall like act for 15 hours straight or something.
There was one instance I know about where, you know, the scene where Dallas goes looking for the alien in like the vents, and he has the flamethrower within. That's such a small cramped space, and the flamethrower kind of uses up all the oxygen in that space. So when you hear him breathing heavily, it's not because he's acting scared. That's just because he literally cannot breathe correctly.
Whew. I mean, that's realistic, I guess. Yeah, that's
I
fucked up, though.
suppose. Hey, on top of this, did you know that this movie was being filmed during a heat wave?
Oh my god.
That there was almost no ventilation for the suits, and that there were actually. This is really impressive. Like it's just a clever trick they used to make certain sets feel bigger. They sometimes had little kids in the space suits walking around to make the scenery look bigger. Also, the kids almost collapsed.
Oh, that's not so awesome.
Slightly less awesome.
More awesome.
Speaking of the sets, can we talk about the fucking visual design of this movie for a sec?
Oh, yes.
And like, we'll get to
Beautiful.
the H.R. Geiger stuff, right? Okay, everybody knows, everybody loves the H.R. Geiger stuff. Is it Geiger? It's Geiger, I think.
One of those.
Everybody loves that shit, right? Like the alien, the inside of the space jockey ship. I want to talk about the human stuff, though. That technology is probably some of my favorite imagery in sci-fi, period.
Yes.
I love... I hazard to even call it, like, retrofuturism, because it's literally... That's where retrofuturism kind of came from. Because it was the 70s, right?
When I think of retrofuturism, I think more like 1950s style.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably more accurate. Yeah. This is still like Wow, you interrupted me. How could you? How dare you?
Banned from the Kayne Horror Hour.
The
Whoring?
The what? The what? The what?
Huh? Did I stutter? What?
Yeah, I absolutely love the like industrial stuff in this movie. The Nostromo is almost a character in itself. It kind of is with Mother. Not really, but you know. But the computers with the solid black backgrounds and just the text on screen and like the graphics all made of the same color because the 70s computers. Or the like all the fucking the greebling on like the buttons and stuff. And then of course we get to I think it's called LV-426. I think I'm getting that number a little backwards. No, I got that right. I actually wrote that down in my notes what the name of the planet was. Because I'm that much of a fucking dork. That planet has such good atmosphere. Like even before we get to the ship, it's just covered in fog and this like sort of blue haze, you know? And then of course there's these amazing matte paintings all throughout the movie that really help sell a lot of these shots too.
Yeah. Specifically in one shot when they're in the ship and I think what's his face? Kayne. He's you know the room with all the eggs that has one specific matte painting that looks really cool.
The room with all... Oh, yeah. That room, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were matte paintings like used as backgrounds.
Oh, really?
I thought they just kind of put
good,
it in
dude.
later or
You
something.
thought they found a real alien ship on a distant planet?
Yeah, they were just like, okay, now for authenticity, let's go to an actual alien planet.
Yeah, that amazing like skyline where you can see the other planet.
Oh, yes.
That's
beautiful.
That's a matte painting.
Ugh, I love space. It's so pretty.
I also had that in my notes where I love how mechanical everything is in like the human ship, and then you contrast that with the alien ship which is also almost kind of like an organism in and of itself.
Yeah, I had that same exact thing written in my notes, dude.
Yeah.
And I guess on that note, let's get to H.R. Geiger's design work. Like, holy fuck, does it sell? It sells, that design alone sells the alien. It's just the way it moves on top of that and the way its like stature is so imposing compared to every other like human character. Whew, mwah, chef's kiss.
The face hugger too. The face hugger was the fucking grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, dude. The like fucking vagina mouth and the like the tentacle that comes out of it. It's just H.R. Geiger always had this like this like sexualness to his design work that like is really off-putting, and I've always really loved it. You can see it especially in I think the name of the game is Dark Seed. It's this like old point and click adventure game, and it's one of the only video games he's actually like directly contributed to. Like there's a lot of video games that have taken design cues from him, most notably and recently Scorn, right?
Oh right, wait, Scorn. Let me check actually what that looks like. If I recall, correctly, Scorn was... oh, that's a different one. Oh yeah, that's very H.R. Geiger. But the one I was thinking of was... what was that other one? I think it was called Agony or something. That has a very different vibe. But it was also one of those games that was like, oh, everything's made out of flesh. Fuck you, haha.
Yeah, no, Scorn is not like, oh, everything's made out of flesh. It's very deliberately like, oh, wow, if Geiger was alive, you guys probably would have gotten him on this, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I see now. Yeah, that's impressive. But pretty cool.
Like, even barring the Alien, which is one of my favorite things to come out of H.R. Geiger, personally, the ship, the space jockey ship, and the space jockey itself too, and I refuse to call it an engineer. I fucking hate Prometheus so much.
Prometheus.
It's just like, it's gorgeous. Like, I have no other fucking word for it. It is gorgeous to look at. And, like, it's so spacious, too. Like, contrasted to the more tight, compact spaces of the Nostromo. This ship is humongous. And then we get to the alien chamber that Kayne referenced earlier, and it's even bigger. Like, the sense of scale in this movie especially is used so effectively for even, like, the littlest things. It's so good.
And then again, you contrast that scale with, like, the interior of the Nostromo. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the human ship.
It's so cramped.
I said that already.
Oh, really?
I just said that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Fine, sure. Keep going with your thought, though. Like, keep going.
Yeah, no, they specifically, like, a few times they redid the sets to make them, like, smaller and smaller. So sometimes some of the actors had to duck, because it's more scary that way. It's one thing to be trapped with an alien. It's another thing to be trapped with an alien in a room you can barely move in.
It would all be for naught if it weren't for this movie's amazing lighting too. Especially near the end of the movie with, like, well, I do think also I'm gonna have to put a seizure warning at the beginning of this episode. I just realized because there's a lot of flashing lights at the end of this movie. But the flashing lights, like, they really make you fucking uncomfortable during the sequence where Ripley is just trying to leave with Jones, who she tosses all over the place. By the way, that poor cat. I know he was not in the carrier for most of the scenes that they showed, like the wide shots and stuff. But still, like, just imagining that cat getting fucking, like, thrown around, especially, like, right as she's getting into the shuttle, there's this moment where she just, like, tosses him into the doorway. It's really funny.
Naughty cats got put in the pear wiggler to atone for crimes. I love the pear wiggler post. I just had to mention it.
Yeah, it's a great post. There was a huge tangent though. The lighting, especially near the end of the movie, where it's just, like, almost pitch black with, like segments of like orange and red lighting and these flashing lights. It's like, holy fuck, it's killer. The atmosphere is killer in this movie.
Yeah, I love the like, there's this opening part where I think you see, like, the reflection of one of the screens on the helmet, and, like, the just the very minimal use of highlight colors. I love that stuff. It's very well done. Like, most of the ship, excuse me,
and also the way
has, like, excuse me.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Just to finish that, like, I think, like, the just the basic color of the ship, which is, like, this white, yellowish, like, that very 80s technology kind of color, with contrasted with, like, some very, like, harsh, like, reds or blues that are, like, almost neon-like, but not too bright still. Like, it's just so well used, like, color and contrast to guide the eyes, but also create a very pleasant image overall. It's very nice.
And the way they lit the alien, especially, was really well done. They showed just enough of him for him to be scary, but, like, not so much that it becomes, like, very clear that's just a guy in a rubber suit, you know? There's one shot near the end as he gets, like, ejected out the airlock.
Yeah, that
where you can just see it's just a dude.
Yeah.
There's another part that I think has always looked a little goofy, where he's, like, stretching his arm, like he's, like, like doing a scary, like, oh, arms in front of your face thing.
Oh, when he grabs Dallas.
Yeah, where I've always thought that's a little silly. It's a little silly.
But, like, all the other scenes look really good. Like, they're very. You don't even see the alien that much. They have a lot of restraint, but you can kind of feel its presence throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, that's fun. Something I noticed is that the alien really isn't that much in the movie. That's called Alien. But you still like feel his presence. I think that was intentional, of course. But at the same time, I kind of wish there was more of him in this movie. Like it's already pretty long. I do have some gripes at the movie. I don't think it's perfect. I still feel like the Thing pulled off a couple of these the same ideas better. But it is cool, like how you feel his presence. Like it's good that you noticed that.
The alien only shows up like an hour into the movie.
That too. Yeah.
And that's like the chest burster scene.
I will say, one of the problems I have with it, although it wasn't as noticeable this time, I didn't have as much issue with it. I think it helped that I knew it was coming. The beginning of the movie is paced really well, like really well. The first act where they're landing on the planet and the facehugger gets attached and all that. Once the alien is introduced, though, like actually introduced, like bursts out of Kayne's chest, and we go from there. The movie noticeably slows down, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think it was done a lot more effectively in Aliens, which we're definitely going to talk about that movie someday. I'll probably bring both of you back for that one, just to keep the alien train going, you know. That won't be for a while from now. I don't want to like just follow this video up with the sequel. Yeah, the pacing is weirdly really slow in the second act and onward. It ramps back up near the end, obviously, during like the chase sequence and the final ejection sequence, which by the way is probably one of the most tense scenes in the movie, where Ripley has to like quietly put on this spacesuit and then straps herself into the chair and ejects the alien, and then it's not even fucking dead yet, and she has to use the like one of the rockets or whatever to finally get it off of her fucking ship.
It has a grappling hook like Batman. And just pulls itself back to the ship. That's great.
That poor woman.
This thing won't die.
Also, bringing up that scene in a weird behind the scenes thing. It's been years since I've heard this, so this might not be as like I might be misremembering this, but it was the 70s. People were really weird about sex in the 70s. So at the end of the movie, right, Sigourney Weaver's like in her underwear, right? It's I don't think it's like revealing or anything. I don't think it's for sex appeal, because she's wearing like a loose like fucking shirt or whatever. But man, somebody was weird about it, and I don't remember who, but like I think it was like some executive producer or whatever. It's like, women shouldn't have pubic hair. So they edited her pubic hair out.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, I'm remembering that, and I'm like, what the fuck was the matter with people?
And this was in a time before CG, so someone had to like manually paint each frame.
Yeah, where
Holy
her
crap.
pubes were showing. Like, what the fuck?
God damn. I will say that scene felt a little weird and out of place. Like, they do this whole movie where they're like, oh, you know, like...
the stripping thing is a little weird.
Yeah, and they, like, linger around, like, you really didn't need to do this. Like, come on. And, like,
maybe it was... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What's your theory?
Maybe it was more arousing in the 70s, but as, like, a guy in in 2023, it's like, this is so goddamn tame. People thought this was hot.
That's so, but because it's so tame, it feels a little creepy. Like, why are they just filming her undress? What is this?
That is true. That does make it feel a little creepier.
A little, yeah.
They kind of set it up earlier in the movie with everybody getting out of cryosleep and they're all in their underwear, right? But we didn't need to see her strip, right? Or well, they could have shot it in a way that wasn't so titillizing, for lack of a better word. I don't know.
I think I get what you mean. Yeah, it's also this is actually a really cool thing that I wanted to bring up. That ties into this. Originally, all the characters were just written as kind of like gender neutral, like not specifically with a gender in mind. And I think that really shows in the end result, because if they specifically wrote Ripley as like a female character, as Hollywood does, I think this would have planned out very differently. And I really appreciate.
Seen bra, dude. We might have even seen tit, which was not uncommon for horror movies of the time, or really even still. I'm glad they didn't go too far with it, but it is a little. It's a scene that's like, it's not like super bad. It's just like it's Dwayne Johnson Vine Boom, you know? Like,
That's very specific, but sure.
you know what I
Just
mean?
eyebrow
though, right?
raise, you know?
Yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you mean, but I didn't read that scene as like sexual at all.
That's fair.
Yeah, well, you're
it's not like it's it was funny. I'm keeping that in, by the way.
No.
It's not like super bad. Again, like I said, it's not super bad. It's just like personally, I was just like, that didn't need to be that way, you know. But in the end of the day, it's not a big deal. I don't really care. But going back to the gender thing that Mark brought up, something kind of cool that Aliens does, although it's done weirdly. I mean, it was the 80s, so it's not super surprising. Lambert is trans, technically.
What? Okay, cool.
In Aliens, at the beginning of the movie, when they're showing off all of the crew members that died, they're saying that she had a sex change operation. It's in the background. Nobody says it out loud because it was the 80s. But it's surprisingly forward thinking of James Cameron, which I guess is on brand for him.
Ridley Scott, right? Or
James Cameron actually was the lead guy for Aliens.
oh, Aliens. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing with the names. I have the two.
Yeah. They went back to numbers. They went to numbers for 3, and then 4 they just dropped the number again and called it Alien Resurrection. It's cool.
Can't wait to watch that one. Oh, so excited.
Oh God, we do have to watch it at some point.
After the fantastic Alien 3, which is just beautiful sequel.
We're not. That's never showing up in this fucking. In this
Oh
cast.
please, I want to tear into
No.
that.
I only want to talk about horror movies I like.
Fair.
At some point, I gotta get somebody to I gotta force somebody to sit down and watch Dark Water, because that movie I really want to talk about at some point. But I bring up that it was done weirdly because it was like done at birth. Like, she wasn't intersex. She just had a birth, like a change at birth. Maybe they have like some way of detecting in the future when you're trans, when you're like born, which is kind of neat, I guess.
Huh.
I don't know. I was confused by this decision. When looking into stuff about like the characters, it's like a weird step forward, step back kind of thing. It was the 80s. I don't know. It's not important at all. It's not important at all for Aliens. It's just like something of note of a character in this movie.
Yeah. Huh. Well, what do you know?
Speaking of aliens, that reminded me of Bishop, who's probably one of my favorite characters in these movies besides Ripley. Which then reminded me of, oh right, Ash is the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
I like how that was foreshadowed, like very early on in the movie, where Ripley goes like, "Hey, I want to get out there. Turns out that the stress call we got, it was a warning." It's like, why does it matter? Because he kind of just views the crew as disposable.
And there's that other part, I think, where it's brought up like he doesn't sleep or something, or he doesn't sleep like the same way the crew does.
It's also as Parker is about to stab the alien is about to stab like the chest burster with a knife, he also stops him like, "No, we gotta study this thing." There's like a bunch of instances where he just kind of keeps the alien alive for no reason at all. There's also a scene where Parker asks like, "Hey, how come you don't fucking freeze the guy?"
Yeah, and he just like kind of waved it off. It's really done effect. And like rewatching the movie too, knowing all that, it's like it's really fun to see those little tidbits. Because like at first it's like, oh, he's the science officer, right? Like, okay, I kind of get it. He's a scientist. He really wants to explore this, but no, that's not his real intentions. It's really good. And I don't know if this was intentional, but there's several scenes in the movie too where he's like drinking and like eating food and like doing human things. Because at this point the crew doesn't know he's an android, right? As opposed to Aliens where Bishop is set up as an android from the start. So of course that there's also that huge twist near the end of the movie, the big reveal where Mother says like what the actual thing is that the Nostromo is doing. But there's these little things like with Ash that I just mentioned, where it's like, and again, I don't know if this was intentional. It could just be like, oh, Ash needs to be inconspicuous, so like just have him do human stuff.
The thing I just forgot about, which is kind of like the biggest thing he does in the movie, is he lets the alien in.
Yes.
Was I the only one who kind of thought like, oh, he's possessed by another alien? Like at first, when he first starts fighting Ripley and he gets his head chopped off, I thought there was just like alien goop inside of him, but no, it's just he's a robot.
Yeah, no, I thought that too. I thought there was like, wait a minute, what the heck is that? Like there was something going on with him, but I didn't know he was going to be a robot. I thought like, oh, he's like also some kind of alien creature, or I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, absolutely.
What I thought at the time is like, okay, this guy spent a lot of time with the face hugger. The face hugger hugged his face, and now there's a chest burster inside him, and he's controlling him in some way or something.
Yeah, that would.
Thank God the movie did not go with that.
Yeah, no.
But it would have been weird. But yeah, that's
he's like controlling him like a little ratatouille.
Yes.
The androids in this series are so gross too. Like internally, why do they have goop in them? Why they got goopy?
I actually looked this up. It is a mixture of various things and also milk. That's why it's white.
Yeah, he's drinking milk at one point in the movie, and I'm like, oh shit. Is he like refueling himself?
Do they run on milk?
Fucking robots that run on milk. It's the future.
Maybe it's like some sort of organic fuel or something. It's more efficient. I don't know.
I think it's like the implication is this is a very advanced android to the point where it's like very organic on the inside as well.
Yeah, like even when they pull out some of his like his bits, it's like, oh, these kind of look like almost intestines.
Yeah. Interesting, huh? It's but you know, I don't fully trust it. I think the cows are in on this. There's only one explanation.
Kind of related, and we'll probably get more into this when we talk about aliens sometime in the future. I loved when Mark was like watching through the movie for the first time, and he was like, "Oh, Bishop's an android. I don't trust this guy." And I was like, I had to bite my fucking tongue so hard.
Hey, no spoilers.
I mean, if you're watching this, you're getting spoilers for the first Alien anyway. If you've not seen the movie before,
my goodness, why was there no spoiler warning?
I also just brought up the giant twist with Ash and Mother like a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I did kind of I really did see it coming in a way. I didn't see it coming that he was an android, but I did see coming like this guy is probably evil.
At what point?
Like when did it click with you?
Like at the very start of the movie where he's like not at all concerned with like the safety of his crew, and then he lets the alien in. That was like, that sealed the deal for me. It's like, yeah, you're evil. There's no way you're not evil.
I don't know if I would have been like, he's evil. I don't exactly remember my first watch through of Alien, because it's been a good couple of years now at this point. But he's definitely an asshole. Like, even if he wasn't an android, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
Of course, we understand why he's so like direct like that. It's because he's autistic. No, it's obviously the android thing, like that kind of makes you understand, like, oh, he's so oriented on doing this thing because he's literally programmed to. But he's still got like his own feelings and stuff. That's something I'm excited to get to with Blade Runner, because I've never seen Blade Runner, but I know he plays around with that concept a bit more as like robots with like actual feelings. Like that's a big part of the replicants, I think they're called, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
But I know Ridley Scott plays around with that concept a bit more in Blade Runner, and I'm excited to see that. But here, yeah, Ash is definitely like like a sort of almost a footprint for a lot of characters like him in future stories and movies and TV and stuff.
Like Prometheus.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about Prometheus a little bit, because we're never gonna. I'm keeping that pause in, by the way.
Good.
Let's talk about Prometheus a little bit, because I fucking hate this movie so goddamn much.
They did the same thing there with the android guy. At least, even though it was like extremely
it was way more obvious.
It was extremely obvious something was gonna happen with him. He was just doing random shit for no reason. He was just fucking around. It was so stupid.
That's a big problem with Prometheus, is that it's just so fucking on the nose. Like it does not want the viewer to think at all. It's so in your face about like, oh, here's the bad guy, here's the not alien of this movie. Ooh. And also all of the fucking like religious subtext. I call it subtext, but it's right there in front of your face the whole movie.
It's just text.
It's just stupid, and it does not belong in this universe at all. They do this shit in Resurrection, or not Resurrection, in 3 too.
Yeah.
And it's just a fucking mess. Like this religious symbolism. It doesn't belong in these movies at all. And
I don't even see why you have to add lore to it.
No, that's something that really bothers me. Is the fucking engineer thing in Prometheus? It it ruins it. It's like Boba Fett, or is it Boba? Boba's the one in Empire, right?
Yes.
Part of what made Boba interesting, right, is that we don't know anything about him. Then Book of Boba Fett comes out and it's like, okay, whatever, who gives a shit? I'm not a Star Wars fan, so maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe Book of Boba is really good and that made Boba Fett a really interesting character.
No.
Kayne, yeah, okay. I didn't think so. But like they do this thing in Prometheus with the engineers. I'm gonna call them engineers just because like everybody knows what I'm talking about with Prometheus, but they're called space jockeys. I don't give a fuck. They're called space jockeys. One, that's funnier, and two, it's way more interesting. But the engineers, like that big thing, Kayne, because you've not seen Prometheus, right?
I've only seen the first Alien.
Okay, yeah. In Prometheus, do you care if I spoil this?
Good.
Okay. Yeah, good. Keep it.
Yeah,
that
you're
way.
fine.
They bring back the space jockey in Prometheus, right? And they explain that humans that humans were made by them. And also the alien was made by them to kill the humans for some reason.
It just makes sense.
What the Halo 4 is this?
Yeah, it's basically just Halo 4.
It was I just remembered like the way they actually came to the alien, like the end result of that whole thing makes no sense, and it was still not an alien, so it was just so nonsensical. Like it was so like the robot, the android guy, like the son of some company.
It's the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Like it's the guy.
The guy, yeah. He puts like the goo from the alien, like a vase or something, a thing. He takes like the goop from that. He puts it in a man's drink. That guy, I don't know, like the big squid boy thing comes out, and then out of that comes. I think that squid thing like fucks one of the the engineers.
But it's not the xenomorph. That's not a xenomorph.
No, it's not even a xenomorph. Something comes out that resembles a xenomorph, but it's not actually a xenomorph.
Also, Magneto plays both the android and the Weyland-Yutani guy. Not Sir Ian McKellen.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
And the old makeup, it looks really bad. It looks so bad.
The only scene I've seen from like any of the later movies is like I think it's Alien Covenant. Where it's like Michael Fassbender teaching himself how to play the flute.
What?
Or is it someone else? I don't know.
I think Michael Fassbender in Covenant? I thought he was only in Prometheus.
I've
no
not
seen
clue.
Covenant, so I don't remember.
One thing that really bothers me about the newer movies, and to be fair, I haven't seen them. But like, one, the aliens get way more abundant, and two, they're all out in like bright daylight. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Dude, you should. When Mark and I were watching 3, the alien looked horrible most of the time because I still can't tell if it was CG or stop motion, but it's like green screened in, and it looks horrible. The lighting never matches when it's moving, and it's like it's not bipedal. Is bipedal? No, bipedal's us. We stand up on 2 legs. What's the 4-leg thing, Mark? You're a biologist.
Quadrupedal.
Yeah. The alien is quadrupedal in
I don't know if that's a word. I don't actually know if this is a word.
Whatever. It walks on 4 legs in 3, because it comes out of like a cow instead of a human. Which is kind of cool because it's a xenomorph, you know,
So it takes like the host's DNA and kind of forms into the. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I like that.
In a way, it makes no sense in Prometheus. Don't think too hard about it.
But it looks horrible in 3. The thing is, you just mentioned though, in Aliens, there's a fuck ton more xenomorphs, but they're still just as terrifying, if not more so, than the first movie.
Yeah, but they're very different. I actually wanted to mention this because we were briefly talking before about how the xenomorph moves. And how it's shown that, you know, it's just a guy in a suit. But I read somewhere that he took like specific training to move like in a certain way, and that's very interesting. But also, like, I feel like they move way differently in Aliens, like the sequel.
They
just like they
crawl
way faster. Yeah, they're like more agile. They're crawling all over the ceiling and stuff. It's like they just feel so very different.
Quick side tangent. There was like one shot in this movie. I don't. This isn't related at all. There's one shot I really liked, and it's when Brett, is that his name? When he's looking for the cat.
That's the guy that's always with Parker. Yeah, that's Brett. Yeah.
When he's looking for the cat, and he enters the room with all the chains, you can just see the xenomorph dangling from one of those chains.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Really? I've never noticed that.
You can straight up see it. It works really well. He blends into the background, but I noticed it and I was like, oh.
I have to rewatch this because that makes the scene a lot more interesting to me. I was first thinking like, oh, this goes on forever. Like, I get it, the xenomorph's gonna jump out, but that makes it more interesting. That's nice.
Related to that scene, one of my favorite parts of the movie, because I've always found it kind of silly, is when Brett like is just getting a shower basically, like with some of the water that's like pouring down on him.
Oh yeah.
I always thought that sequence was so fucking weird, and I didn't understand why. I still don't understand why it's in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of there to show, like, oh, he just likes... Maybe he misses rain, because that's, like, a very human thing. I thought, like, I understand that.
That's a good observation of that scene, actually. I don't know if that was the intent, but that's a good interpretation. I like that.
Yeah, I just saw, like, it's not... Because it's not like a shower. It's just, like, little droplets of water just falling on your face and being like, huh, this reminds me of home. That's how I interpreted that.
It's just bad plumbing, and the ship got kind of fucked up when they crashed, so...
Yeah, I don't want to know what's in that water, man. Oh my god, no.
No, it's fine. Brett won't have to worry about the consequences of doing that.
Yeah.
Because his fucking face gets shunted.
Yeah, and after that, Parker got to take a nice shower in his blood.
Yay! Yippee! Yippee! I've been saying yippee too much lately. I don't know where that's coming from.
I love that one scene with them. I think it's like right before the chest burster. Or no, it might have been after. No, it was before because they're still all in like a good mood. I think I'm not entirely remembering this, where it's like Parker, I think Ripley, or it might have been Dallas, and Brett are there, and like Brett is just like saying yeah or parroting everything Parker's saying.
Yeah, right.
And they even call him a parrot.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a fun little sequence. It's not that important, but I've always liked that little interaction between them.
Those are just little character moments. Those are the moments that make you care about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can tell if that scene wasn't in it. I mean, yeah, well, Brett and Parker they kind of have like this buddy thing going on, but if that scene wasn't in it, like it would be a lot. I don't know. It would be a lot weaker. I feel like you wouldn't really understand why why Parker gets so upset at Brett dying.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just such a small thing that it's like if it wasn't there, I'd miss it. Obviously, I think it should stay. I think it's important. Rescinding what I said earlier, where it's not that important. But like it's such a small thing that I guess my brain just didn't really think about as that important. But like like you bring that up and it's like, yeah, you know what? I would care so much if that was gone.
Yeah,
I think it would be a lesser movie without stuff like that. Those little moments where the characters are just talking to each other.
At the start of the movie, I thought those two would be the first to die.
Yeah, same.
I mean, technically, Kayne is the first death, right?
Yeah.
But the first death to the alien. And not like the chestburster is the alien. I don't know why we always give it a different connotation. It's literally the same fucking creature. But I never think of that as like the first kill in the movie. Because it's kind of a slasher movie, Alien. The first kill is Brett, if we're going by that like standard of like, oh, the killer is around and he's actively killing people. And something that makes the alien more effective than like say Jason is the alien is an animal. It's just an animal. It's like kind of just doing what it does instinctively. It's not like evil. It's just an animal, you know? Unless you count Prometheus, which they were designed to kill people, but that's fucking stupid, and there's no way Ridley Scott was thinking of that back then.
One thing I do wonder about is like how did they know about the alien before they sent like the ship towards that planet?
Wasn't there was mention of like I swear there was mention at some point early in the movie of like another ship or like another station being near that place or something, and like all the people on board are dead or something. I don't entirely remember that. I might be misremembering. I've seen so many fucking alien things at this point now that they're all kind of like melding a little bit in my brain. Like certain parts, like parts of Isolation and fucking 2 and even 3 are kind of like mushed together.
It's I don't think the company actually knew that there would be like aliens down there on that planet. That there was even anything there, because that would contradict like the second
Mother
movie.
brings up the organism thing. Like, it's brought up by the computer that Weyland-Yutani like set directives to Ash to bring back the organism.
But only after they presumably told them about the thing that's been going on. I think Ash just informed them, like, "Hey, look, we got this cool thing. What do you want me to do?"
It might not have been intentional, but part of me kind of wants to like think that Ash did actually translate the message and was just lying about it, and like maybe it had more information, because all Ripley got was that it was like a warning, right? But I think it's possible that it was there was more to it than that. But that's theory crafting. There's no actual evidence of that in the movie itself.
Yeah, at least the company didn't know about any alien business down there, because they built like a whole colony over there. And when Ripley told them like there's something over there, they were all like, "What? No, what are you talking about? No."
I don't know. I don't think the company knew at the beginning of the movie. I do think they knew at the beginning of the movie. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, okay.
So, I do think they know, solely because, like, as I mentioned before, Ash is so unbothered by this for the safety of his crew.
Yeah, that happens so early in the movie that it's like, and it
like you that implies that he had that assignment from the very start.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think he just generally is like that. I prefer that, honestly, that he was just not really caring about the rest of the crew because, well, you know, it doesn't matter.
Or maybe we are just dumb and it is explained in the movie. I don't know. I miss stuff all the time.
I'm gonna edit in
Perhaps.
clips of this if there is like something to edit in. I'm gonna edit in like us being fucking proven wrong. This is already gonna be such a pain in the ass to edit because of how many fucking errors and shit there've been. Which you, my fine viewer, have not experienced because I cared enough to not make this a fucking nightmare for you. So you better appreciate it, you piece of shit!
No, you gotta keep at least some in, at least the first one where the whole Discord thing shitted, because I had a really good joke.
I might.
I kind of just jump all over the place with stuff I want to say too. So I don't know if that's interesting to listen to in any way.
I think we've had like a general like structure. We went from like topic to topic, I think. Just in this last part, we kind of went into some random directions.
My notes real quick just to see if there's anything big that we're missing.
Yeah. I actually have a couple of things. I wrote down some questions that I had about the movie, and I wonder if you guys have any answers to them. Maybe that'll be interesting. Let's see. There is this, like, at the very start of the movie, you like see the camera pan over to this computer screen that shows that there is some kind of signal being picked up. But as the camera moves over, there's like rumbling of something walking around, and you see like papers also just, I don't know, falling onto the floor. Like there's a bit of like there's a light breeze of somebody walking. What was that?
They say there's turbulence at the beginning of the movie. They say that.
Why would that affect? What? But why would that affect like, I don't know, just papers flying around? Like it wouldn't affect like the ship's atmosphere. It's just so weird to me. A similar weird thing happens when the camera moves over to the cryopods where the characters are sleeping, and the door like opens and closes as the camera goes through it. Why would that happen?
Because it got a cool shot.
Yeah, but like, why would that? It doesn't in universe.
You're being a fucking cinema sins right now.
No, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I am literally just asking this and thinking like, is there some kind of reason for this? Like, could it be
cool
perhaps
shot.
it's maybe it's Ash or something, that he wasn't sleeping and he was just awake this whole time. That's a theory.
If you really need an in-universe explanation, sure, you can theorize that it was Ash or something. But the real reason was that it just is a cool-looking shot for the door to open and then for us to zoom into the cryopods. That's just a cool shot.
Yeah, but the wind with the papers and the rumblings, like there was someone walking.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think I missed that entire thing.
I don't remember that at the beginning of the movie.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it last time, like the first time I watched it, so I was like really looking out for it. And yeah, there is like rumbling, like it's almost like footsteps, and there's like
the
papers falling
like a
over.
Piece of shit cargo ship. It's kind of shitty. Like even before it crashes, it kind of like gets fucked up by the planet. So I guess I never thought of it. My brain probably just subconsciously thought like, oh, this ship is like is a shitty cargo ship. So it's like it's just general rumblings and creaking and shit, you know.
I'm not buying it. This ship has been flying around for months. For more months, perhaps even years, and that piece of paper was there on that table the whole time. If there was like a shitty air conditioning that was like blowing stuff around, everything would already be in the position where it just would eventually end up, you know?
In the movie, they all get out of cryo sleep, so there is something going on, right? Because they're woken up. They're woken up because of the signal. They're woken up because of the signal, so something is going on with the ship. Like, clearly something...
Okay, now that is a good theory.
That's not a theory! That's literally what happens in the fucking movie!
Okay,
it's
well...
such a nothing moment!
Why do you give a shit?
Up on this?
Next question.
Why did the door open? Why did the paper fall? Fuck you!
Well, look, it doesn't make sense. They're moving through the door. Why would the door open and close if there's nothing
I thought you were gonna ask like questions about the themes
I
of the
thought we were gonna get some like actually
Okay.
interesting questions.
Moving on.
But we got fucking CinemaSins over here.
Look, fuck off. There was this moment in the air shafts where they lost the signal of the alien for a bit. Like, what
It
happened
stopped
there?
fucking
Like,
moving! That's how the motion tracker works!
No, but it was like right there. Like, it had moved up all the way up to the
Okay,
guy.
here's a theory for you.
And then it was suddenly
it's brought
lost.
up that Ash is the one who made the motion tracker, right? Maybe it was made shitty intentionally. There, does that make you happy?
Perhaps, yes, I like that theory. I think that's fun. I think that's interesting to think about.
Do you have any like questions about the themes of the movie or like the characters or anything? Not fucking minuscule little details that do not matter.
No, but it was like...
You don't matter!
I have one more.
You don't matter. Give up.
Okay, look. No, you're gonna hate this one. You're absolute fucking bull. I'm fucking.
Now I need
might
to
as well
hear it.
just
Ask
leave.
the question.
Why did Ash start leaking? Like he just randomly started malfunctioning. Like why did that happen? Was it
I
because
thought he got hit by like Ripley or fucking or Parker, didn't he?
No, Ripley like slightly pushed him over. It was like if that's what causes a robot to malfunction, this would have happened way sooner. It was like why did this happen? It was strange.
God, just for
I'm
the
curious.
reveal. Do you watch every movie like this?
No, but it's like this movie that it's like this movie rewards you for paying attention to details and little things, and then when I start analyzing these things,
Okay,
you're like,
but these are
don't
clearly
fucking it's
such
movie, shut
minuscule
up.
things that were not intended to be
but
this
I thought
fucking
they were-
like microscoped, you know?
I don't know. I feel like there should be a reason for him to suddenly start malfunctioning. I don't think that's
I'm
weird.
pretty sure there's a moment where like he gets he's like pushed or something.
He's just slightly pushed over to the
I'm
side.
gonna
He
play a
can
clip
walk
of
it
this
off.
in the episode. I'm gonna play a clip of this. Do we have anything else to add to this fucking conversation?
They used the chicken egg for the poster. That's the last thing I wrote down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was an actual chicken egg. It's not the actual thing that the the what's it called? The wall crawler Manny, the funny hand boy, the little boy, the man, you know what I'm talking about, the guy.
Here's your pen back.
Oh yeah.
What? Huh?
Oh, you're paying attention to all the little details you say, but you don't remember one of the
does it mean?
funniest lines in the movie. Are you fucking with me
What does
now?
it mean? Oh, right. Why are you saying that in this context?
I wanted a funny one-liner to end the video off because we're done.
Oh, fuck you.